Herkese merhaba, ben Burak Baysan. Bölüm'ün 4. bölümüyle birlikteyiz. Bu sefer yeni bir tane bizim filmimiz açılmış. Hemen onu da bir izleyelim.
If people stayed on the shore and never got underwater, how would we ever know that fish like one another? When you see fish interact with other creatures, like the octopus and the grouper, who go fishing together, they communicate in ways that we don't know what they're saying, but they know what they're saying. They've been on the earth for hundreds of millions of years. They've had a long time to figure out these close relationships.
Sharks actually might prey on dolphins in a natural setting, but when they are presented with a bait ball, then they work together for this common goal to feed on the fish.
Allah Allah ya, yunuslarla köpek balıkları
very
birlikte
large bait
çalışıyorlar.
balls spread over probably half the size of a football field. We had mobula, we had dolphins. The bait was shifting everywhere. Animals were coming in, moving out, just moving so quickly.
So we have some orcas around the bowl and also under. So everybody works together as a team, herding the fish. Males, female, everybody is doing this, and they will eventually share the stunned fish afterwards, which is pretty amazing to see. There is no competition, so everybody's working together and everybody is sharing the prey afterwards.
It really
çok
takes a
ilginç
long
ya.
time of being in there, watching the same species of fish to figure out these really interesting things that they're doing. So I think that there's probably a lot of really interesting behaviours out there that we haven't even discovered yet.
Oğlum çok güzel şeyler varmış. Baksana su altında. Yani bilmediğimiz daha kaç tane film var? 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 tane kalmış. Bu demek oluyor ki yaklaşık 5 bölümümüz falan var diye tahmin ediyorum. Toplamda sevgili YouTube 5 bölümde falan daha bitiririz diye tahmin ediyorum. Bakalım.
Bad news. The drone we had tracking that intrusive noise, it's gone.
Nasıl gitmiş
Lost
lan?
contact hours ago. I'll keep monitoring the hydrophones for that noise, but as of now, unless the drone resurfaces, that's all we've got.
Haydi.
Hey Mirai, I assume you've heard that Andrea lost a drone.
Yeah, bad break. Did we get any usable data from the drone before it went missing?
You'll have to ask Andrea. He hasn't given me an update. I think he's upset that I suggested we'd still have the drone if we used it for its original purpose.
It's crazy that we only have one mapping drone. If this were a space mission, we would probably have 100. You sound a little frustrated. Is that with Andre or the drone situation?
Both.
Harsh. Andre really does have good intentions.
I just wish he wasn't so cold with me, just because I turned my prior research into a successful biotech business. Not every company is evil.
Give him time. He'll lighten up. I know he thinks your current research is important. And impressive.
It is. Actually, that's nice to know.
Was that a yawn? Did you get any sleep?
Not really. Between the drone and staying up to chat with my daughter, I spent most of the night staring out of my cabin window at the moon.
My grandmother loved to take me free diving in the moonlight. It was magical. It's like the whole ocean glowed.
Hiç hayal edemedim
Sounds like a fun grandmother.
She was.
o ışığında dalmayı.
She's alive, but suffers from dementia.
Sorry to hear that.
Thanks. Nana moved in with us after our mom died. I was 12. Ren was 4.
Are you and your sister close?
Most of the time. It's complex right now, but yeah, definitely. Where is your daughter?
She's at university in the UK.
What is she studying?
Pre-med. But she also has a passion for music. She has been playing in the same indie band for years.
What's her music like?
Hard to describe. I'm sure Sophie would love for you to check it out. I'll send you her latest single.
Ooh.
Isn't your sister also at university?
My sister, took a break for a few years, but she's back now.
There's a story there. Not my business.
She's had to deal with tough stuff. We both have. I just seem to have an easier time adjusting.
Does she want your help?
I push her to do better, but honestly, I think that just pushes her away.
You sound like me talking about my daughter.
Yeah, complex. People are messy. That's why I study whales. Speaking of which, I better get prepped for our next dive.
Yeah.
Catch you later.
Hadi gidiyoruz.
Yes, of course.
Haydi gidiyoruz chat. Sevgili Twitch, sevgili YouTube. Dalıyor muyuz? Bence dalıyoruz. Bir de bunu bir arayalım.
Hi, Mariah.
Kardeşimizi
Must be
unutmadan.
late there. That's okay. I'm on dive time. I showed Nana the highlights from your live stream. Did she recognize my voice? No. Maybe. She seemed to enjoy it, though. Are you doing okay with her? Kind of. You do this better. Did you want to talk about next semester? When you get back. It's complex.
Nasıl karışık lan?
You know,
Ne kadar
I
karışık
can look at
olabilir?
coming back earlier. That's crazy talk. Go speak to your whales. Gonna try. Catch you later.
Vay be. Hadi gidiyoruz dalmaya. Bakalım yine balinaların peşine gideceğiz. Galiba bu oyunun tamamı balinaların davranışlarını ve önemini anlamak üzerine yapılmış gibi geliyor ve bayağı tatlı yani bence. Ben beğendim bayağı.
The Twilight Zone. I'm following Andrea's family down to the seamounts where I hope to observe them hunting. Arena has been testing our samples and is worried about a harmful algal bloom being somewhere nearby, so I am to keep an eye out for that. Check. I'm also keeping an eye out for more turtles. I know they're out there, ready to dive.
Hadi bakalım dalmaya hazırız chat. Dalmaya hazırız.
I'm in and okay.
And we're streaming.
Hello, everyone. Welcome.
canlı
Or
yayındayız.
welcome back. I'm diving near a seamount region, also known as the Twilight Zone, because it is just beyond reach of the sun. And we'll be taking some questions live, so be nice.
We'll also be testing a playback system to interact with whales.
Bu ne abi? Örümcek yengeci. Uy. Taraklı deniz anası. Bu neymiş lan? Aa, böyle bir deniz anası türü mü varmış birader? İlginç. Emirhan hoş geldin. Ne ilginç canlılar var ya.
Want to hear something cool? So do I. I'm hoping that buoy can send a little message to our humpback friends.
That's right. Andre is going to serenade some humpbacks.
Allah Allah.
Well, not me, but using a song I generated from other recordings.
Sensör mı? Balina. 76 metre, 101 metre, 47 metre. Şuradan başlayalım arkadaşlar. Canım güneş balığı. Güneş balığını kim avlıyor acaba? Denizde.
Another leatherback turtle, Andre. and feasting on some moon jellies.
That is odd. Is that the same one we saw before?
It looks bigger,
Abi
but
deniz anası
let me
yiyor
zoom scan it to be
gerçekten.
sure.
Kaplumbağalar.
We can run the sample in the lab, but I am sure this is a different one.
Do they typically travel together? Wouldn't it be surprising to find two this far off course?
Yes, it would be.
And yet, here they are.
Bilmiyordum bak,
Welcome back,
kaplumbağalar
turtles.
nelerle
Enjoy your beautiful moon jelly.
besleniyordu diye hep düşünürdüm. Meğer deniz anası yiyorlarmış anasını satayım. Sabah kalkınca ilk iş kaplumbağalar neyle beslenir diye düşünüyorum arkadaşlar. Öyle bir fantazim var. Manyağım ben. Eyvallah Emir.
Okay, time to see if any humpbacks respond to our song.
Jordan wants to know how.
Yere bak abi.
Great
Bu
question.
tatlı bir balık
If
değil mi
we have
ya?
recorded him before,
Salak şey.
we'll see if the influence of our song affected his.
Scientists believe whales from one region can influence the song of whales from another when they mix.
Oğlum o nasıl bir balina lan? O korkunç abi. Başka nerede var ya tanıma noktası?
Hey Andre, we've recorded a song from this one before, right?
We have.
How quickly can you compare his two songs?
Well, I need to wait for his song to complete at least one full cycle.
And how long is that?
20 minutes, maybe more.
Wow, that's a long, slow ballad.
İlginç ya. Bu ne abi? Hala köpek balığı birader.
Looks like they're hunting.
Lanternfish.
Well called, Arena. We'll make you a sea witch yet.
I'm sorry, what?
Let's scan a few to pick up their hunting behavior. Here goes.
Mürekkep balığını tara. Nerede var abi başka mürekkep balığı? Acaba? Ama mürekkep balıkların bu arada türü tükendi olarak normalde tükendi deniyordu. Sonra bir anda ortaya
Some do.
çıktılar.
I think this one was upset he missed out on his prey.
Aynı şey megalodonlar için şu an bekleniyor. Arayanlar var manyaklar gibi. Bize hayat çok garip ve korkunç arkadaşlar.
Great. I've been waiting for this. I have just activated your UV light.
First of all, don't mess with my suit when I'm diving. Secondly, you spoiled my surprise.
Oha abi her tür renk var. Adamlar uğraşmış yalnız oyun için ya. Bu ne abi?
Swell sharks have developed biofluorescence to communicate with each other.
Pişen köpek balığı. Böyle bir köpek balığı mı varmış abi?
Now you can see what a swell shark sees.
That's what I'm talking about.
Next, you can try the black light I installed in your sub.
You did not. You did install it in your dorm room back in the day. Your wife showed me pictures.
Bu gözlere bak, ne kadar korkunç ya. Nereye gideceğiz? 14 metre gelmişiz.
What am I looking for here?
Oh, one of our sperm whale tags must have fallen off.
Andre, you really need better glue for these.
I don't use glue.
I've tracked down the tag. It's in a cave. I wonder how it got in here.
Kesin bir şey gelecek başımıza. Onu ne avradını?
Oh, what the?
Right.
An octopus.
Are you okay?
Other than getting inked in front of a live global audience?
You know, you might want to get that off you. It will probably attract predators.
Oh, wonderful.
Abi avcıları mı? Bana doğru mu? Getirmesin ya. Ne olur getirmesin ya. Ben hiç sevmem öyle şeyleri bak. Bunlar su altı şeyine benziyor. Salatalığına.
Okay, last boy of the dive. How are you feeling?
Chances of suit holding out until the end of the dive? Good. Hope of seeing if our humpback song had any effect? Well,
You know this, but for the viewers, science is not magic. It takes patience.
I'd like to believe in a little magic.
Başka bir yere gidiyoruz. Şu an yine bir balığımız var. Sanıyorum.
Sperm whale, I think it's... Yes, it's hunting! First time we'll be able to document it with Andre's technology.
Bunun sanırım kuyruğunu...
Come on, come on. And then the buzz. I got it!
Abi nasıl çıkarıyor acaba bu
Raj
sesleri?
from Mumbai wants
Nasıl
to
bir
know
vücut yapısı var hayvanın ya?
I think he was making a joke.
Got it. But what is the buzz? How is it used?
We're not entirely sure, but definitely associated with being close to prey.
This is just the warm-up. The real fun will come in the deep.
Bunlardan da ne çok varmış anasını satayım. Ne yapacağız abi? Yakın taramayı peki?
Andre. Andre. Well, there's no way these little
Abi
ones are
inanılmaz
thousands
küçükler de
of
gelmiş.
miles, of course. Right, Andre?
Give him a minute.
Right. Let's scan a few of these to get their gender. There's a tiny tag here. Andre?
Chen from Shanghai wants to know why you care about their gender.
Well, their sex is determined by the temperature of their nests. Warming beaches wiped out the turtles in the
Abi cinsiyetleri yolların sıcaklığına göre belirleniyormuş.
They just start, but let me check on that tag first.
Ah. İlginç ya. Deniz altında böyle bir şey karşılaşsam net altıma sıçarım herhalde ya.
Beautiful.
Yeah, they must have been hunting down past the rift.
I think we found our spot for our first deep dive.
Mirai, check out that one closest to you. What's that on its skin?
Not sure I can catch them. They're headed to the surface. Might just be a scrape from a ship strike.
Yeah, let's hope that's all it is.
Let's end it here.
Oha ya. Abi mükemmel değil mi ya chat? Mükemmel değil mi ya?
I know it seems like Andre worries about everything. But I really understand where that comes from. Everyone's seen the pictures, but I can tell you it was really tough to be doing hands-on work when we were losing entire species. For me, it was the whales. But for Andre, it was the turtles. I stayed to help him. Several of the other scientists did as well. By then, only Andre's protected nests were the ones producing turtles in the region. We all figured that the population was going to collapse, and eventually it did.
Çok üzücü lan.
But seeing this large man spend day after day carrying tiny turtles from the nest to the water, it inspired us to stay.
Helal lan adama. Kesinlikle yaşanmış bir
Back
şeydi
now
yani.
it feels like another world. Andre is not an angry man, Arena. He's just a man who gets angry when he sees people say it's too hard or that they don't care at all.
Benjamin hoş geldin.
Hi, Mirai. Sorry to miss the post-dive brief. I've been listening to our humpback recordings for hours and got myself in a kind of funk. Actually, I started listening to the humpbacks and then switched to Miles Davis. Anyway, I don't see any clear sign that our playback influenced any of the other whales yet, but I just know we're on the right track. I'm sorry to be in such a mood. Don't know what to make of those turtles or what's going on with our sperm whale family. Right. Catch you in a bit.
Tamam.
I've been listening. Actually, anyway.
Yanlışlıkla şey yaptım ya.
Right.
Bölümü de bitirdik. Yeni bir dalış görevimiz var. Hemen gidelim. Benjamin biraz geç kaldı, evet.
Day 12. Spent the last 5
Yayın
days on
yaklaşık
an endless series of
5,5
depth
saat
tests
önce
of
başladı.
Andre's deep diving suit. Guess he doesn't want me to implode on the live stream. I do hope it's giant squid proof though. The mapping drone located a brine pool near where Andrea's family has been hunting. That is before it went AWOL. Ready to die. I mean dive.
Hadi bakalım bir tane daha. Nereye dalıyoruz bu sefer? Abi tamamen zifiri karanlığa
in and
dalıyoruz
okay.
ya.
You sure I can't talk you into another test dive at this depth before we stream?
Enough test dives. It's not like I'm doing a spacewalk.
Well, with this
Ne oldu
single
be?
return.
We're gonna talk about suit crush depth again?
I think we can probably roll.
Starting live stream.
Welcome back, ocean friends. Tonight, I am deep. Midnight zone, no light from the surface deep. Tonight, we're using Andre's lure drone to mimic
çok
the Atolla
korkunç.
jellyfish to lure large predators like the giant squid.
It's certainly not all my tech. I'm building on years of prior research.
Nasıl satayım, çok korkunç ya.
Oh, yes, Arena will fill you in on that later.
Ya denizde dalsam, bununla karşılaşsam orada kendimi boğarım ya herhalde. Abi çok korkunç ya. Hayvan belki beni göremiyor, belki bana bir şey yapmayacak ama şu... Ha bak abi. Ne avradın ya? Adamlar çok güzel
Okay,
simüle
Andre,
etmişler
how do
ya.
I find the lure drone?
Look for blinking red lights in the water column. No need to get too close. You can activate the lure from there.
Andre, have you done this before?
I haven't, but others have.
How long until we can expect the lure to attract a predator?
It's hard to say. It's a big ocean. But if you lose patience, I would find some real Atolla jellyfish. I have a feedback system set up to improve the lure as you scan them.
Of course you do. For those watching, we will be scanning these Atolla jellyfish to make sure Andre's lure matches the real thing.
It does, but it can always be refined.
Not much confidence in humanity, but plenty in himself.
Abi bu ne?
Got the jellyfish scans, though Andre doesn't need them.
In truth, they should improve the lure.
Chat.
I would not waste your time.
Getting a few impolite comments on the screen pointing out that giant squid don't feed on Atolla jellyfish.
They're right. Actually, the Atolla puts on this light show when under attack, in order to lure creatures big enough to eat their attacker. Might have some useful human applications.
I think we need more Atolla scans to approve the lure.
Nasıl bir yem makinesi ya bu?
Okay, whose idea was it to live stream this particular dive? I am glad I can't see the comments.
I would agree. My grandmother had a saying for times like this. I'm not going to try my grandmother's accent on a live stream, but loosely translated, it means if you get bored waiting for a giant squid, you can always go to a brine pool.
That's a pretty specific saying.
I noticed that these atollas were already making their blue alarm before you swam close.
Most likely a sign that they have detected predators in the region that threaten them.
Şeyler oluyor ama şu an ne olduğunu anlamıyorum. Yem şeyini yapıyoruz. Canlı yayın kamerası için yem ayarı yapılıyor ama o ne anını avr... Birader.
That gave me a chill.
Bu korkunç. Anını avradın, o neydi ya?
I know how much you enjoyed that, but do you mind if we check out the brine pool before we check on our whale cam?
If you insist, you got what you wanted. This is my giant squid.
Is that another one of your grandmother's sayings?
No, but she often used this one. Hurry up and collect my specimens for me.
What an expressive language.
It's no giant squid, but I promise you, you won't have to wait to find it.
Ya buraya yalnız dalacak kadar taşaklı kaç insan var acaba dünyada ya?
At long last, welcome to the brine pool. I know it's really a salt lake under the ocean, but it looks more like a witch's brew. I have been teasing Arena, but a brine pool is a diverse microenvironment within the ocean. It has its own ecosystem.
And each one is unique. So that means the microbiology is unique and could hold groundbreaking solutions to human problems. Each time I take new samples into a lab here on this ship, it's this magical discovery moment where I tingle all over. I fund my
Manyaksınız
research
siz ya. Kesinlikle
so I can
manyaksınız
pursue
yani.
what I know to be important. And people ask me, how much money are you going to spend to collect some bacteria at the bottom of the ocean? If these bacteria hold the cure for a disease that relieves even just a small amount of human suffering, how do you put a price on that?
That is some giant squid.
Garip hayvanlar var arkadaşlar.
Mirai, pushing your waypoint.
Sperm whales are back on the hunt.
Look for the drones. They will seek out the sound of the sperm whales and then idle nearby.
We hope that today, Andrea's tech will make it possible to document how a sperm whale hunts the giant squid.
Abi mümkün değil ya, yüzemem herhalde bu kadar karanlık su. Kafayı yerim ya. Ölür giderim arkadaşlar orada. Hani şu an yapıyorum, bu bile beni geriyor nedense.
Let's go tag some sperm whales so we can eavesdrop on their hunting.
One of our viewers wants to know if there is a problem with the link since the waypoints keep appearing and disappearing.
No problem. The drones are in stealth mode, so they will only track the whales by sound.
I better swim fast. We'll keep good watch over you.
Dev mürekkep balığı avı. Kim avlayacak onu peki? Tam olarak. Onu ne avradını? Abi. Balinalar mürekkep balığı mı yiyormuş?
What just happened?
I think the squid knocked the camera right off.
I had that camera feed in full screen on my visor, and for a second I thought it was lights out for me.
Sounds like a good time for the sub to pick you up. Live stream out.
Arkadaşlar. Çok fena ya. Gerçekten çok fena. Yeni videolarımız var. Hemen onlara da bakıyoruz. Hemen. Bunları zaten buraya kadar izledik biz. Şuna bakalım.
Jellyfish have mechanisms of self-repair. They're constantly getting bitten by turtles and chunks getting taken away. 50% of the jellyfish population are wounded. So they've gone through 500 million years living, persisting in the ocean in simplicity, and they've come up with some remarkable ways of living. There's something called the immortal jellyfish. and how they age, aging in reverse, which we're just beginning to understand, where they get old and then degenerate back into a youth again. In understanding the gene pathways and how this happens, this could look at, humans. We don't have this capacity to age in reverse. It's like Benjamin Button, and it's here. And it just takes the kind of focus and dedication to look at that jellyfish and to grow that jellyfish and to figure out how to use the best available scientific tools to get at this question. It's just about kind of looking super deeply and letting the secrets unfold.
Abi şuraya bak ya. İnanılmaz.
The energy from our star flies through the universe, through our atmosphere, and hits us at the ground. But now, when we go underwater, the ocean properties of water are like pure blue filter. So it's going to filter out all these other wavelengths except blue. As you go down further, it's primarily blue, blue, blue till 700 meters. And at that level, there's still faint photons of sunlight in the blue range. And we call this the twilight zone. And there, animals are still perceiving a tiny little bit of our sun's energy. Below this, it's gone. 24/7 darkness. And it turns out that there's a ton of color vision down in the deep. So it's like they're making enough light down there to be able to be satisfying all the eyes of the deep sea creatures. So it's not this totally dark world down there. It's still light. It's just the animals are making the light rather than the sun.
Oha oğlum hayvanlara bak ya.
We've designed all this technology to kind of satisfy our visual hardware. As I started looking at other animals, they have totally different hardware. And I've been looking at everything through these silly little primate eyes. We have to overcome our humanness to jump behind the world of a shark or another creature and see the world from their perspective. We found a biofluorescent shark, and it only sees right at the blue-green interface. So it's really just tuned to a very similar spectrum to the environment it lives in. This fluorescence was creating greater contrast for the shark. It's like this endless well of information. We're at the very tip of the iceberg.
Abi çok güzel şeyler var ya. Oyunu çok beğendim gerçekten. Arkadaşlar iyidir.
These animals travel thousands of kilometers, navigating open oceans that have no physical landmarks. They have that innate ability to find their way. They're only sharing our beach for a short point in time, but they need protection because man has brought an ancient species to near extinction. I got involved at a time when hostilities were very real. People came with guns and machetes to poach a turtle. We would protect these animals at all costs. Because on the high tides, when the tide comes up, this area here will be flooded, right? So when the sea turtle lays her egg, the nest requires a constant temperature. And if we recognize that this nest is in a real bad spot, we choose a spot further inland on the beach that's stable, and then we would evaluate if the eggs were able to hatch because of us moving them. And in both cases, we're always right. So as the villagers began to benefit from the tourism that turtle conservation was creating, they saw that the turtle was worth more to them alive than dead. The children really love sea turtles. We educate them, but we involve them. And by so doing, we get them to a level of interest where they want to become actively involved. When we first started this conservation work, we would encounter at the height of the nesting season 30, 40 turtles. Now we encounter over 500. That's significant. Some people argue, well, that's nature. Leave them. Why protect them? But remember, humans have to intervene sometimes to help nature keep existing.
Çok güzel ya. İnsanlar zaten doğanın anasını sikiyor. Daha ne insanlar müdahale olmasın.
Sound to whales is everything. It's their hands. These are animals with the biggest brain on Earth. and the most powerful sonic apparatus. They spend a lot of their time deep down. They're diving for an hour at a time in darkness. Just like a submarine is echolocating, they're kind of... They ping a signal out, and then they wait for that signal to bounce off something and come back as the signal. And from that information, they could get an idea of what's there.
They constantly click, and that click sometimes can be really loud, and you can feel it in your body. It's like going to a DJ and feeling that bass. Once I had an experience with a sperm whale. It clicked, my ears almost like bounced back. It's really an amazing feeling, you know.
You don't develop a huge, complicated brain if you're not using it. Whales have little channels of communicating where they could talk to each other hundreds of kilometers away using sound.
Sperm whales make
Yüzlerce
clicks
kilometre diyor
in
arkadaşlar.
sort of rhythmic patterns that we call codas. Any family might have 20 to 25 different coda patterns that they use when they're having conversations with each other. And some of them are unique to different places in the world. In the Eastern Caribbean, they make a lot of what we call a 1 + 1 + 3. That sounds kind of like this. And that's only ever been recorded in the Caribbean. And it's been identical for the last 35 years. These are really different ways of life that are being labeled by these coda patterns. In the same way that human language is kind of a shorthand for where you come from. You can make a lot of missteps when traveling simply by speaking incorrectly or introducing yourself differently. Do you hug? Do you shake hands? Do you bow? And a growing concern has to do with the noise that we're putting into the ocean. Everything we do impacts everything they're doing. The sound is causing high levels of stress in animals like this. No one wants to live at a rock concert. You can imagine trying to have your home inside an arena while some metal band is playing. And that's increasingly what the ocean feels like.
Vay be. Vay be. Sevgili YouTube, bu bölümün de böylelikle sonuna geldik. Çok güzel bilgilendirici bir bölümdü şahsen. Birazcık da ürkütücüydü benim için. Bir sonraki bölümde görüşmek üzere arkadaşlar. Hoşça kalın şimdilik.